whether you are watching us here live in the chapel or watching on the stream on cable. We are so delighted. My name is Anna Hagen, and I am your harpist for today. I've had the privilege of playing here at Grace Village on and off. I realized for almost a decade, I found a picture of me playing here 10 years ago, and I am so honored that Carol invited me back. We're going to start with a lovely Celtic jig tune called Banish Misfortune, because one of the great joys of worship and music is that it lightens our spirits and our hearts. Enjoy Banish Misfortune. Thank you. That was a little bit of Banish Misfortune, which was a traditional Irish jig tune. And I am playing you some Celtic music, a special Celtic program for March because we had St. Paddy's Day a few weeks ago. And so I'm playing Celtic music, wearing a little green for the month of March. Now, I had the privilege of playing here in Christmas for a special Christmas event. And I had my great big concert harp with me to play for that occasion. So if anybody saw me in the lobby when we had the Christmas cookies, I did not put my harp in the dryer and shrink it by accident. This is actually a different harp. I own 7 harps of different sizes, and I brought this one specially today because it is my Celtic harp. It's perfect for Celtic music. But I also brought it because, as I said, I found a picture of the first time I got to play in this chapel over 10 years ago. And back then, I only owned this size harp. I was just starting to play. I've been playing for 18 years now, but I was just about 8 when I came to my parents and said, "Mom, Dad, I want to play the harp." And they went, "Take piano lessons." Actually, they made a bargain with me. They said, if you will play piano for 1 year and we never have to nag you or remind you to practice, we will think about letting you play the harp. So a year later, "Okay, Mom, okay, Dad, you didn't have to nag me about a piano. Can I have a harp now?" And I have been playing ever since. Now, people ask me a couple questions when they hear this story. The first one is, why? Why did you want to play the harp when you were just 8 years old? I knew I would play it in heaven. I thought I better get an early start. The other question people usually ask is, how long did it take me to learn to play? And that's also kind of a tough question. I was amazing. I could play the very first time I sat down behind a harp. Do you want to hear what I could play? Okay, I was not a prodigy. But I was making music, and as a 9-year-old, that was really exciting. So I kept playing, and I kept performing. And the more I practiced, the better I sounded. And the better I sounded, the more I wanted to practice. It's a good cycle. So like I said, I've now been playing for 18 years, and I play a little bit better than I did when I first started. Thank you, A Little Twinkle Twinkle Little Star by Mozart. Now, I was raised as a classical musician, lots of Bach and Beethoven and Bach and Mozart. So I'll give you a little sample of some of those traditional classical sounds. Like I said, I love Bach, and we are currently celebrating the season of Lent. So let me play you one of Bach's classic hymns, O Sacred Head Now Wounded, to give you a sample of traditional classical music. Thank you. A little bit of Bach. Like I said, lots of Bach and Beethoven and Bach and Mozart and Bach, 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 Bach. I love Bach, I do. But as soon as I started playing out for people, I would come and play for senior communities, and I would play for events, for weddings and churches. I realized I wanted to play songs that people were really familiar with, songs that they recognized. And so I started expanding outside of classical music into, well, anything that people would know or people requested. So I would often take requests. And one of the early favorite requests, of course, were lots of hymns. And one of the first one of those was the wonderful "I Come to the Garden Alone." Now, it's a little bit cold at the moment to go out exploring rose gardens, but hopefully, Lord, please let spring come soon and we can go out and celebrate. I come to the garden alone. Thank you. I come to the garden alone. That's such, is that anyone's favorite hymn? I know it's a huge favorite in my household. In fact, I took the title of my very first CD from the chorus of that song. I titled my first CD, "The Joy We Share," from that line, "The joy we share as we tarry there." You see, people, I started to play for senior communities and for weddings, and people would say, "Oh, it's so nice you come and play for us, but we want to keep the music going. When are you going to make a CD?" And I said, "I don't know, that sounds like a lot of work." But eventually, I made a hymn CD, and everyone said, "Great, now when are you making a Christmas CD?" And I said, "Never, that was so much work, I am never going to do that again." So 2 years later, I made my Christmas CD. And then another 2 years, I made a second CD of hymns and variations. So my CDs are available outside in the lobby afterwards if you are interested in keeping the music going. But I took a lot of fun drawing from different influences when I made my CD. I, of course, had my classical background, but part of the reason I love playing harp is its Celtic or folk music tradition. So I'm going to play you a couple folk Celtic songs, Irish jigs, to give you a feel of the rhythms of these Celtic that are so different than the classical or the gospel sounds that I grew up loving in my other ears. So enjoy a couple Celtic jigs. If anybody would like to get up and dance a jig, feel free, but you may want to consult your healthcare professional first. So this first one is called Morrison's Jig. Enjoy. you. You may be wondering where all of those drumming sounds were coming from. I had a lady ask me yesterday if I had a phantom leprechaun playing the drums for me. No, there are no invisible green men running around up here. I'm actually using a fun bit of technology called a loop pedal. So a big part of the Celtic tradition is these big skin drums, high drums called bowrons that you might see played, held in the hand and played. So to imitate that sound, I'm hitting on the sound box of my harp. Any performance where you get to hit your instrument is a good performance. And then I have a little box at my feet called a loop pedal. So I will play a rhythm and the loop pedal will keep it going. So I'll show you. Look, no hands. And that lets me add these layers and dimensions of rhythm to my melodies. I just added this all recently. This is a new addition. I'm always trying to increase and expand what I am able to do on the harp. But before I had a loop pedal to do all of these fun drumming, I tried to integrate this feel of a Celtic jig with some of my favorite hymn arrangements. So for my CD, Hymns and Variations, I put together two classic Celtic hymns, Jesus, Lover of My Soul, and I Heard the Voice of Jesus Say, into a medley, or as the Irish musicians will call it, a set of dances, almost like they were dance tunes. So you'll hear one tune that flows right into the next, like an Irish set, taking inspiration from that to color the quality of that hymn. So enjoy. I heard the voice of Jesus say, "Come unto me and rest." So that was my own arrangement, my own medley of some favorite Celtic hymns. And for anyone who's turned in since the beginning of the hour, welcome. My name is Anna Hagen. I am your harpist today, and I brought my medium size of my 7 different harps to play some favorite Celtic tunes. So we are so glad that you are joining us both in person and on the TV. I was so excited. They said, "Don't worry, people will watch on the TV." I said, "I'm going to be on TV? Wow!" So I am so delighted to be back here celebrating with some Celtic tunes. Now, I'm going to play you another favorite. This is a traditional Irish, another Irish march, actually. I have been doing a lot more of these sort of closed circuit performances since 2020. We couldn't have big groups, so I started doing live streams online on my Facebook and YouTube. So I've gotten quite used to having these conversations with a camera. And I will often find people will come on and say, "Oh, it's so soothing. I'm just falling asleep while I listen to you." And I get it. The harp is very relaxing. In fact, if you fall asleep while I'm playing, I understand. I don't even mind. All I ask is that you please snore in rhythm. But the tradition of Celtic music is not of that wonderful, relaxing, peaceful harp. The harp in Celtic tradition is not an instrument to fall asleep to. It's an instrument to go to battle with. In fact, the oldest harp that we have in existence is called the Burrow harp. It's in the National Library in Dublin and on display. It's about 600-year-old wire-strung Celtic harp, carved intricately with those beautiful Celtic designs. And the tradition is that there was an Irish king, a little warlord, who would play this harp as he rode into battle, because the harp was the tradition of the wealthy, of kings, and the harpers would tell the stories of battles and victories. Harp in Irish tradition is not a peace instrument, it's a war instrument, which is one of the reasons why it was actually outlawed for a period of time. In fact, the English so wanted to suppress the Irish rebellions that they completely outlawed the harp in Ireland for nearly 100 years, even though the harp is the national instrument of Ireland. And we nearly lost most of the Celtic music tradition because for 100 years, nobody could play the harp. Fortunately, we have a few tunes, and again, we don't know that this dates back to the original Brian Burrow, but the tradition ascribes it to him. So this is Brian Burroughs' March. Thank you. So I am so sorry my friend is leaving at the moment, and I wanted to tell her we do get to more hopeful songs later on, so you'll have to tell her about it when she comes back. But that song, that traditional song, Brian Burroughs' March, as I said, was a marching song or a war-themed song. I don't know how it would work as a march because it's in 6/8 time. That would be really interesting marching. But a lot of Celtic music is themed around this feeling of either war or of loss. In fact, the most famous Celtic song that I'm most often asked to play, "Oh Danny Boy, the pipes are calling," is about a father mourning his son who is going off to war. So let me play you "Oh Danny Boy, the pipes are calling." Thank you. That is hands down the most common request of a secular song that I get on the harp. And it's a hauntingly sad song. It's a beautiful song, but so sad. The great poet G.K. Chesterton wrote, "The great gales of Ireland are men that God made mad. For all their wars are happy and all their songs are sad." But there is something powerful in remembering that harp quality of love and loss, of battle and loss, because the other common association, of course, with the wonderful harp, the one I most commonly get is, "Oh, you're like King David playing the harp." I hope for David's sake he had a smaller harp than this. Can you imagine hauling this after a herd of sheep? Oh. But King David, the most famous harpist in Scripture, celebrated his victories and his losses on the harp in worship, because he celebrated that God was his victor. God was the source of his victory, and God was the source of his solace, both in his joy and in his grieving. There's a wonderful Celtic setting of the 23rd Psalm, famously called the King of Love, to the tune of St. Columba. The King of Love my shepherd is, his goodness faileth never. I nothing lack, if I am his, and he is mine forever. Thank you. So I love to play these Celtic hymns. They fit the harp so well, especially ones that celebrate the goodness of the Lord. But actually, one of the great references to harps in Scripture isn't just David. There's lots of harps. In fact, one of my favorites comes in the book of Revelation, where it says, "The voice of God sounds like the roll of thunders, like the fall of waters, and like harpists playing their harps." So I was remembering back to the first time I had the opportunity to play here. I was quite young and very excited to be performing in such a beautiful space, and I eagerly took requests. I said, if anybody has a favorite song or a favorite hymn that they would like to request, feel free. And somebody asked for, oh, no, it just slipped my mind. How Great Thou Art. And I loved it, and I didn't know how to play it. So I'd had a request and I couldn't perform it for the very first time. And the group here was so gracious. They said, be sure you play it next time you come. So I am back here, and I want to be sure and play How Great Thou Art. I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, and I proclaim, my God, how great thou art. Thank you. How great thou art. Well, in the middle of all of this fog, I didn't play the Foggy Doo today, but I have often been playing the Foggy Doo to get that Irish mood going. In the middle of all of these dances and all of these sorrows, the best way is to keep our eyes fixed on how great thou art. Oh, when I see how great thou art. And there's another wonderful Celtic hymn that reminds us to do just that. Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, save that thou art. To keep our eyes fixed on the King of love and all of the victory that he brings. Enjoy, be thou my vision. Thank you. Be thou my vision, and not be all else to me. If you are just joining us on the TV, my name is Anna Hagen, and I am your harpist for today. Before I finish the program, does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask about me or about the harp? Yes, I do have calluses on my fingers. Oh, I've answered all questions and satisfied all needs. If you are watching in your room, you are just going to have to write down your questions and submit them by committee. And the next time I am here, we will answer them as we can. Does anyone have any requests for a favorite song or favorite hymn that I haven't played yet but you'd like to hear? Don't be shy. Well, if there aren't any requests, I will play one more favorite that is an often requested hymn. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming, for enjoying and listening to my music. Like I said, if you would like to take it home, my CDs will be in the lobby. And I want to thank the wonderful audio and video staff for making me sound and look good. I really appreciate that. So thanks to Grace Village and to the community here for hosting me. I look forward to the next time I get to worship and celebrate. And who knows, maybe next time I'll be playing gospel or jazz or who knows, even rock and roll, rockin' ages. But whatever we're playing, may our vision and our ears always be turned on the King of Love. And I'll see you next time.